जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभारि हरसारि। जय गोपीजन वल्लभारि हरसारि। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन। 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 यमुनातीरावनचारि। यमुनातीरावनचारि। जय राधा माधवा जय बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय निताय सखी नंदन निताय सखी नंदन निताय सखी नंदन गौर हरि। जय निताय सखी नंदन निताय सखी नंदन निताय सखी नंदन गौर हरि। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा। गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। जय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि। राम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। We'll start with the Mangalacharan prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा एवरीवन Dandavat pranam. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. We are discussing the verse 41 from verse 31 from 14th chapter of first canto. I will share the screen. First canto 14th chapter verse 31. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. सुषेणश्चारुदेष्णश्च साम्बो जाम्बवती सुतः अन्ये च कार्ष्णिप्रवराः सपुत्रा ऋषभादयः सुषेणश्चारुदेष्णश्च साम्बो जाम्बवती सुतः अन्ये च कार्ष्णिप्रवराः सपुत्रा ऋषभादयः सुषेणश्चारुदेष्णश्च साम्बो जाम्बवती सुतः अन्ये च कार्ष्णिप्रवराः सपुत्रा ऋषभादयः. Anybody would like to chant?
Into
Hare Krishna, please.
Kushenashcharudesh Sambo Jambavati Suta Anyecha Kashani Pravara Saputra Rishabhadaya. Thank you, Guru.
Anybody else?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, please.
शुषेणश्चारुदेष्णश्च साम्बो जाम्बवती सुतः अन्ये च कार्ष्णि प्रवराः सपुत्राः ऋषभादयः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Madhe.
Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 14th chapter, 31st sloka. Hare Krishna. Susenasu charudesnasu cha Sambho Jambavati sutaha Anye cha Karsini pravaraha saputrashyabhadayaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Madhe. So we will do the verse word by word. Sushenaha, Sushena, Charudeshnaha, Charudeshna, Cha, and Sambaha, Samba, Jambavati Sutaha, the son of Jambavati, Anye, others, Cha, also, Karshni, the sons of Lord Krishna, Pravaraha, all chieftains, Saputraha, along with their sons, Rishabha, Adyaha, etc. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: are all the chieftains sons of Lord Krishna, such as Sushena, Charudeshna, Samba, the son of Jambavati, and Rishabha, along with their sons, all doing well? Purport: as already mentioned, Lord Krishna married 16,108 wives, and each of them had 10 sons. Therefore, 16,108 times 10 equal to 1,61,080 sons. They all grew up, and each of them had as many sons as their father. And the whole aggregate was something near 16,10,800 family members of the Lord. The Lord is the Father of all living beings who are countless in number. Therefore, only a few of them are called to associate with the Lord in his transcendental pastimes as the Lord of Dwaraka on this earth. It is not astonishing that the Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. It is better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours, and it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. King Yudhishthira, while inquiring about the Lord's sons and grandsons of Dwaraka, mentioned only the chieftains amongst them, for it was impossible for him to remember all the names of the Lord's family members. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this verse 41, we are reading, verse 31, we are reading. So the context is Yudhishthira Maharaj is talking to Arjuna, and he is inquiring from Arjuna about the well-being of the personalities in Dwaraka without knowing the fact that they have left. Now, each verse we can see that Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking about different relatives of Krishna. And in this particular verse, he is asking the sons of Krishna. Now, as mentioned in the purport, there are many sons for Krishna himself and then grandsons. So Maharaj Yudhishthira is not able to remember all the names, and then he's just asking the chieftain sons. Some of the names are mentioned here: Sushena, Charudeshna, Samba, the son of Jambavati, and Rishabha. And then he's also asking the sons of the sons, grandsons of Krishna also, are all doing well or not. Now, of course, we can see how much affectionate Yudhishthira Maharaj is for Krishna himself and his all the wives and sons and grandsons. And then we can also see other associates of Krishna. He will be asking about them also as well. This is the quality of a devotee. Devotee is, of course, very much affectionate towards Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And he is equally affectionate towards all the devotees of Supreme Lord, all the associates of Supreme Lord, which we can see from the entire Srimad Bhagavatam is describing the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees, and the loving exchange between Krishna and his devotees, and also loving exchange between the devotees of Krishna himself, especially Vidura and Uddhava. There are many verses describing how they are exchanging. And the center is again Krishna. They are not discussing anything beyond Krishna. And there is nothing beyond Krishna anyway, but specifically Krishna is their center. When devotees speak, it will be all about glories of Krishna and his devotees, which is very much dear to Krishna, those topics. Now, Maharaj Yudhishthira is not in a very blissful mood, in the sense that he's sensing something from Arjuna, something not so good. And in that mood, he is asking about these personalities. Now, the purport Srila Prabhupada is giving us many instructions, even though this is a very simple conversation between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Arjuna, asking about the well-being of some personalities. But Prabhupada is bringing us so much of nectar in one sense, by glorifying the supremacy of Lord Krishna, especially, and also indicating the position of the living entities. So he starts with mentioning Krishna married 16,108 wives, which is not an easy responsibility, especially for living entities like us, even to maintain a small family again in this Kali Yuga is going to be very, very challenging. So Krishna is having 16,108 wives in this pastime at Dwaraka, and each of them he had 10 sons. So that makes it 1,61,080 sons altogether. And then the sons, all of them grew up, and then they got married, and they have 10 sons each, as mentioned here. And that brings to 16 lakh family members, close to, for Lord Krishna. And then he's doing everything else according to his particular responsibility also, without having any burden, not feeling any burden. So that means Krishna is not like us. Now, more than that, we know that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is the father of all living beings, which he claims in Bhagavad Gita many times. And the living beings are countless in number, as Prabhupada indicates here. And also, only a few of them Krishna selected to associate with him in his transcendental pastimes, at Dwaraka especially. Now we know that there are pure devotees descended from spiritual world along with Krishna, and Krishna chose some of the living entities already in the material world. They are not yet completely pure, especially many of the demigods. They were also asked to descend to this material world to associate with Krishna. Now Prabhupada is giving us this sentence. It is not astonishing that Lord maintained a visible family consisting of so many members. If he is the father of all living beings, who are countless in number, then for him it is not a difficult thing to maintain the 16 lakhs of immediate family members. Apart from that, there are many other associates in Dwaraka other than his wives and sons and grandsons. And then he was pleasing everyone. Everyone was associating with Krishna without any limit. Now Prabhupada is cautioning us. Now Krishna has family, he has wives, children, etc. So one may think, we also have families, and so he is one among us, maybe with little bit more capacity or some extra power, some mystic power, or some extra skills to maintain so many wives. We hear that some other kings in olden other yugas, they also used to have many wives. So Krishna is also such king. He's maintaining some wives, but Prabhupada is cautioning better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours. And he's also giving us this indication that it becomes a simple truth as soon as we understand at least a partial calculation of the Lord's transcendental position. So Krishna himself says that no one can understand him completely. And if one needs to understand to a small extent, that also it is by his mercy. Krishna has to reveal to one living entity that much that living entity can understand, not more than that. So it is very difficult to understand completely, even to understand a little percentage. So Prabhupada is telling us even at least a partial calculation of his position. If one can understand, that itself is great. Now there are verses in Bhagavad Gita which many verses indicates Krishna's position. Most of them are very celebrated verses. Verse 14:4, which is 14th chapter, 4th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvayo nishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyoni aham bija pradapita. So he's telling all species of life are made possible by birth in this material world or material nature. And Krishna is a seed-giving father. So everyone is able to take birth in this material world because Krishna is allowing us to come here in this whatever form according to our desire, whether a human being or a demigod or an animal or insect or whoever. So the seed-giving father is Krishna. He is very clearly, explicitly mentioning that in Bhagavad Gita. Now, in chapter 7 also he is mentioning, verse 10, Bijam mam sarvabhutana vidhi partha sanatana. So I am the original seed of all existences. Everything exists here. I am the original seed. Everything comes from me. Of course, he mentions in other verses, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything emanates from me, etc. So it is very, very clear that Krishna is the father of all living entities. And also he speaks in 17th verse of chapter 9, Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yadur evacha. I am the father of this universe, also the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, etc. So in that verse, in the purport, Prabhupada elaborates a little bit and mentions that all the living entities, whether one is a father of some other living entity, like all of us have a biological father, mother, grandfather, etc. Everyone is parts and parcels of Krishna. So these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc. in this lifetime, next lifetime, some other living entity is going to appear as our father, mother, etc. But they are nothing but Krishna himself in one sense. Not that they are Krishna, but they are parts and parcels of Krishna. Or they are coming from Krishna only. So Prabhupada is mentioning that everything in that sense. He is the creator, he is the grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, everything. Because everything is parts and parcels of Krishna. So one cannot compare oneself to Krishna. Nobody else, no one else can claim that I am the source of at least some of these things. Temporarily, one may tell that I have this child, so I am the source of this child, but not completely, because the control is not within us. We did not choose to have this particular child. Of course, there is reasons our desire will make us to choose. So we, in other words, even we are forced to have the whatever, to become a father or mother or grandfather or grandmother of a particular living entity. It is not in our control, but Krishna is not like that. Everything is controlled by him. Everything is managed by him. Everything is maintained by him. And then he's doing this without feeling any burden. Unlike us, for us to maintain a family, to become a father or mother, or to become anybody in this material world, any small position or any big position, it takes a lot of energy, effort, this, that. And then to maintain that, we have to take much more effort and energy. And then when we lose that, we feel so much of anxiety and this, that. But Krishna, he doesn't have anything like that. He is eternally father of all living entities. So comparing ourselves with Krishna, it is a foolish act. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. And then he also mentions that all the Vedas aim only toward Krishna. Whether we want to know through the Vedas is but a, whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step toward understanding Krishna. Krishna spoke that also in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaishta sarvair ahameva vedyo. If one wants to learn Veda, the purpose is to know me. If not, the essence of Vedas, that's not coming to that person. He may be understanding some aspect of Vedas, which could be partial or incomplete or incorrect or things like that. But the correct understanding will come only when one understands Krishna. And Bhakti Amam Abhijanati. Without Bhakti, we cannot know Krishna. So if you put things together, learning Vedas without becoming a Bhakta is going to be a waste of time. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that in this purport that be careful, or better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours. And another verse in 9th chapter, verse 10, Krishna speaks. This is very famous verse. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. So he's mentioning that material nature is one of my energy, and that energy is working under my direction. So anything happening in this material world is under my direction. So there is no point in comparing our activities with Krishna, because we are not controlling anything here. Krishna is controlling through material energy, and material energy is controlling us. And because material energy is putting us into this Maya illusion, we think that I am the source of such and such things, and I am able to do so many things. I'm able to manage this, manage that. I have so much of power, and I have so much of skills, potencies. So it looks like Krishna is one among me, or something like me. And some people may even think that Krishna is immoral and I am better than him. I am not immoral. I am at least doing good things, the goodness, and I'm not killing anybody. I am not stealing anything. I am not dancing with other person's wives and all. So I am better than Krishna. Some people go into that extent also, not even comparing and stopping there, but going beyond the capacity. So Prabhupada is giving us that indication. Now, how do we understand that Krishna is beyond this material nature? Only three ways: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And Guru is, of course, following the Shastra. Sadhu is following the Shastra. And if one cannot understand Shastra due to whatever reasons, they have to approach a pure Sadhu or pure, genuine spiritual master and understand from them the position of Krishna. Now, the fundamental of Srimad Bhagavatam is supremacy of Krishna. Krishna is the supreme being, and eto jamsha kalapumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Bhagavatam is claiming that, or proving that Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. Out of all other incarnations of Krishna, or out of all other incarnations of the Supreme Lord, Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan, and everyone comes from Krishna. Now, Kathopanishad, which is quoted by Srila Prabhupada many times, the famous verse, Nityo Nityanam, Chetanas Chetananam, Eko Bahunam, Yo Vidadhati Kamaman. So very clearly, eternal, Nitya, and there is Nityanam, many eternal beings, which are the living entities, but there is one Nityo separately mentioned. That is the supreme eternal Krishna. Chetanas Chetananam. There are Chetanas and Chetananam. So there is plural and singular. So there is always one supreme and many subordinates. That is very clearly mentioned. Eko Bahunam. There is one supreme, Bahunam, many. And that one single person is maintaining the entire existence. All the living entities are maintained by him. This is from Kathopanishads, which Srila Prabhupada also quotes many times to prove this same aspect, that Krishna is not comparable. We cannot compare Krishna in any way. So he is that single person. In 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also he describes this. So after describing all the vibhutis one by one, finally Krishna speaks to Arjuna that Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tava Arjuna Vishtabhyaham idam krishnam ekamshena sthito jagat. So what need is there for all this detailed knowledge with a single fragment of myself, tiny fragment? I pervert the entire universe and support this entire universe. So that is the kind of position Krishna holds. And if somebody is trying to compare himself or herself with Krishna, which is very clearly impossible because of the Krishna's position. So in this purport of 1042 Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada gives a detailed purport, very nice purport. Many aspects he is coming up with. One of the interesting factors is he's mentioning Asamurdhva. Krishna's position as Asamurdhva, which means no one is superior or no one is equal to him. And there are, as we know, there are many demigods, supremely powerful demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and then other demigods also. But especially Lord Brahma is the creator, secondary creator of this entire universe. He created all the 14 planets, and every living entity came from him. And Lord Shiva, we know how powerful he is. He's able to destroy the entire universe. So one may think that, or many already thinks, that Krishna is equal or one among them. Of course, these three murtis, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. So they think that, yes, they are all equal, or some may think Lord Shiva is superior, and sometimes Krishna worships Lord Shiva, or Lord Ram worships Lord Shiva, so Lord Shiva is superior. But Lord Shiva himself clearly communicate that Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param, response to Mother Parvati. The topmost worship is worshipping Lord Vishnu. And he himself says that much more than that is worshipping Krishna's devotees or Vishnu's devotees, Vaishnavas. And he is one of the Vaishnava, not only one of the, he is the topmost of all Vaishnavas. So he held that position. And then devotees worship Lord Shiva in that manner also. But many devotees misunderstand Lord Shiva's position and simply worship for getting some material gain. And then many demigods are being worshipped in that way also. But we are instructed by acharyas that it is an offense to consider the names of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma as equal to the name of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, because that is a fact. It is not that we are not respecting Brahma and Shiva, but we are completely respecting them. But understanding source is Lord Krishna, everything comes from Lord Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada writes or quotes a verse from Baladeva Vidyabhushan in this purport of 1042. In that, Baladeva Vidyabhushan is mentioning Yat Shakti Leshal Suryadya, etc. Meaning, from Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets its power. And Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Sri Krishna is worshipable. This is very similar to Brahma Samhita verse, which is a very celebrated verse. Yat Chakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Tejaha Yasyatnyaya Brahmiti Sambrita Kala Chakro Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. The sun, who is the king of all the planets, full of infinite effulgence, the image of the good soul, is as the eye of this world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in pursuance of whose order the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time. So generally, sun is considered as a great, whatever, there is sun god. Some people doesn't believe there is sun god, but sun is an object or something like that. But people realize, day to day we realize, everyone realize that sun has great potency. At least that much everyone, whether one is a devotee, non-devotee, atheist, or impersonalist, they all agree that yes, sun is very powerful, full of infinite effulgence. Sun is able to provide light to the entire planet, etc. And that sun, some people think sun is the greatest personality also. But the truth is revealed by Lord Brahma, who is the Acharya and who is the creator of this entire universe. No one can deny his advice or comment, because he created the whole universe by the empowerment of Krishna, of course. So Brahmaji mentions that the sun performs his journey, mounting the wheel of time, by the order of Lord Govinda, Lord Krishna. So this is very clear from Shastra. One has to have that mentality of surrendering to Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, so that they can understand Krishna is the greatest person and we cannot compare in any way. We can simply surrender. Prabhupada very kindly say this many times, that Krishna is so great, I am so tiny, therefore I must surrender to him. It is as simple as that. Then one will become happy. Otherwise, one will never become happy. So, now how do we come to that level of surrendering? Because the main issue in this material world is to accept a higher authority. The very reason why we are here is because we wanted to reject the authority, supreme authority, Krishna. I don't want to surrender to Krishna. I don't want to see Krishna as God anymore. And I want to become the God. And then I want everyone to surrender to me. And I do not want to surrender to anyone else. That is the main reason we are here. Now, how do we go back to the original position of surrendering to Krishna, which is our natural position? Now, of course, the simple answer is bhakti. But how can one move from that position of, I want to become the God, to I want to surrender to God? So that's why Krishna himself is coming here directly, or sometimes other incarnations, or many times he sends his representatives. He gives us Srimad Bhagavatam, he spoke Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc., 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 etc. But still, people are very much reluctant to surrender to Supreme Lord. Sometimes they are ready to surrender to something else, but not to Supreme Lord. That is again very pathetic condition of this material world. Especially in Kali Yuga, it is very difficult for someone to surrender. That word itself is having a negative feeling. So surrender means I am a failure, total failure. If I have to succeed, I have to grab things on my own. I can do it, etc. I am capable of doing it. I am skilled to do it, doing it. That is what being taught even in schools and universities, etc. And on the other side, there are these fake gods. People claim that I am God, I am supreme, I have this power, I have that power. You become my follower. I will give you whatever you want. You don't need to follow any restrictions. Now, these people may say, follow for regulative principle, or someone else may say you have to do austerities, you have to do that. No. With me, you don't need to do anything. You can simply enjoy the way you want, and then you will be very safe. Surrender to me. There are people like that also. So we were hearing a very old lecture by Tamal Krishna Maharaj. It is an interesting lecture. It's a very old video. The quality of video is not that good, but it's very clear. Lecture is very clear. He's giving the lecture in Fiji. And we cannot see, but I think he has a picture somewhere in the room. And what we can understand is there is picture of Krishna and picture of some of the demigods. And then he's doing a survey of the audience. So he's asking the audience, most of the audience are Indian origin, by the way. And he's asking that, do you think, or do you believe that Krishna himself is a Supreme Lord, or any of the other demigods are Supreme Lord? Or do you think anybody else whose pictures are not shown in this board, wherever he has those pictures, do you think anybody else is God? So one Mataji, maybe 20 or 30 age, that's all, youth, she told Supreme Lord is Krishna. So Maharaj is asking, why do you say that? So she very politely said that Bhagavat is describing that. So Maharaj told, yes, good. Then he asked anyone else. Then one Prabhuji was telling, I have a different opinion. And someone, without mentioning the name, this person is God. By the way, he's not a demigod or someone, but he claims that he's God. So then Maharaj asked, why do you say he is God? So the person responds that because he can create things. So he asked, can you be specific about all things he can create. So he told he can create gold. So Maharaj asked, is there any jewelry honor here? So then one person raised the hand, yes, I have a jewelry. So do you have gold? He told yes. And Maharaj told, oh, he also can create gold. Then the other person say, oh, no, he has gold he's giving, but this person who he can actually create gold all of a sudden, and he can cure diseases. So Maharaj says hospitals, doctors, they also can cure diseases. Then Maharaj asks him, can he stop deaths? Have you seen he, because his devotees are also dying. So the person told, oh yeah, that is true. Maybe if someone asks him, can you stop death, he might have. That means he's not very sure, etc. Now, this is the world we are living in. And some other person was telling, I know some person who claims he's God because he can create light. So Maharaj told electricity office, they are also creating, giving us light, etc. Then he's mentioning sun is so powerful and sun gives light, but even sun is not the supreme Lord. So Maharaj was not, of course, fighting or defending anybody. He was just giving some points which they can think. And then he went to Brahma Samhita verse, wherein Krishna is described as Supreme Lord and Lord Shiva is transformation of Lord Krishna, etc. Kshiram Dadha, Yatha Dadhi, etc. And then explaining the real tattva from genuine scripture, genuine acharya like Lord Brahma, he's describing such things. So these are the mindsets of people, and sometimes they are ready to surrender to some wrong source or wrong persons, and then they get misled and then they are not becoming happy. And Srila Prabhupada always cautions us, especially his disciples, he used to caution that do not go to this person, that person who may be claiming I'm Babaji or God, or they might do some simple magic, creating apple all of a sudden, creating some powder and just that. Don't get distracted by such persons. Simply follow my instruction, which are coming from Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from scriptures, and simply do this sadhana bhakti. And once you are pure, Krishna will reveal to you everything. It's as simple as that. So bhakti is very simple. Don't go with all these fake so-called people. And don't hear Bhagavatams from someone who is speaking for their own material benefit without having a proper spiritual master, without having a proper parampara. They're just speaking for making money. So don't hear from that, all these instructions. So Prabhupada is very, very kind in making sure that we are moving in the right direction. And the right direction is the human form of life is meant for self-realization, and that means understanding who we are and understanding who is the source of everything, which is Krishna, and the relationship between the source and the subordinates. So our position is very, very clear that we are servants, and all the time we are serving someone or other one. So why not serve Krishna? At least in this lifetime, try to serve Krishna, Prabhupada says, and then see the magic. So now from Krishna's perspective, he is very kind. So sometimes he is demanding a little bit. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. That's what he says. So that means one has to give up all kinds of so-called dharmas or religions and then surrender to him. That's what Krishna is demanding. Surrender to me, I will take care of you. I will remove all the sinful reactions. Now, again, that surrender is being demanded. And one has to come to that level of surrendering only by the mercy of a pure devotee of Krishna. Because Krishna spoke this, but many people did not surrender. Then Krishna himself decided, I will come as a devotee and demonstrate personally how to surrender to Krishna. And that's how most merciful Avatar Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended to this world. We are also fortunate that we are in that line of disciplic succession. Srila Prabhupada is simply following in the footsteps of that parampara. All the great acharyas, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, coming down, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, and finally Srila Prabhupada. So, how do we know Krishna is loving us? Because Prabhupada says this, if you have to surrender to someone voluntarily, you have to feel love. Even in this material world, generally children are asked to surrender to their parents, in the sense that follow the guidelines of parents, etc. So if they love the parents, they will surrender to their advice, etc. Similarly, student, teacher. I'm sure all of us we have some particular teacher in our school or college who we liked very much, and some other teachers we did not like for whatever reasons. And whomever we loved, generally we spend extra time studying those subjects because we wanted to show to that person that I have special love towards you, and I want to follow your instruction, guidance, advice, and I want to show that I have fulfilled that whatever you taught. I have followed that instruction and I would like to demonstrate that I learned that. And the teacher become happy, etc. But if we do not love the teacher, sometimes we may not study and we try to cheat also. And there are very good teachers, they have very close relationships with the students, that when they write the exam, no student will try to cheat the teacher by copying or this or that. The same student may copy for another exam with another teacher whom they may not like. So that is a kind of relationship, surrendering because they love. So Prabhupada says that if you know Krishna is loving you, then it will be very easy for you to surrender to him. Then there is no comparison of Krishna is like me, or I can do something like him. I don't need him, I will take care of myself, and all kinds of misconceptions are going on. That will not happen. Now, to know Krishna, Krishna says that Tesham Yesham Tvantagatam Papam Jananam Punyakarmanam. That verse, he says that first you have to be sinless. Then only you can know me. But to know Krishna, we have to execute devotion service. And then Sarvadharman Parityajan, that verse he is giving us relief. That you surrender to me, then I will get rid of your sins, and then you can know me better. So it is not a conflicting thing that we have to become completely sinless to start our devotion service. To start, we don't need to become sinless. We can be sinful, or any sinful person can come and surrender to Krishna. But we need to feel that love, at least to a small extent. But how do we feel that love? Only through the medium of Acharya. The Acharya is a representative of Krishna, and the Acharya is giving us Krishna, is giving us Krishna Prema. The whole purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent to this world is to gift us this Krishna Prema. And he knew that if Krishna Prema is delivered, then who can reject? Because love is what everyone is looking for, whether one is an atheist or not, doesn't matter. They are all looking for love. But majority of people will go to an improper place expecting I'll get love there. But if we know Krishna is loving to us, then we will surrender. Now, Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse, there are many verses. Krishna is giving us that guarantee, assurance. Of course, this very famous verses, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati, then Paritranaya Sadhunam, I am descending to protect the devotees. All those things are showing his love only. But this particular verse, which is very beautiful verse, which is very famous also, 9:22, verse 22 of second chapter, sorry, 9th chapter. Ananyas chintayanto ma ye jana paripasate desham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. This is like 100% assurance Krishna is giving this assurance that those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, still he's giving a condition. That's okay, but the outcome is very, very beautiful. Meditating on my transcendental form, to them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So who else can say like this? Whatever one lacks, I'll give. No one else can say this. And no one else can say that I preserve what they have. So sometimes we think that, I lack this thing. Someone else may think I lack a beautiful house. Someone may think I lack a beautiful spouse. Someone may think I lack a nice job. Someone may think I lack nice friend circle with whom I can enjoy materially. And then they may say that, oh, why Krishna is not following his words? He told that I carry what they lack. So I was hearing a lecture from someone. He was mentioning this, that when Krishna says, I carry what they lack, it is not the what they lack is not based on the person who is lacking some things. It is based on Krishna's understanding. Krishna knows what we lack. Especially Krishna knows what we lack in our spiritual progress. Or Krishna knows what we require more than what we have right now, so that we can progress in our life, especially spiritual life, towards him. And he knows what needs to be preserved in our life, whatever we possess, this or that, so that he or she can progress in our life. Based on that, he will either preserve some things which we have and give us something which we lack. That's why we see that many devotees, they may be very great devotees, even pure devotees, Krishna will take away something from them, because no need to preserve those things. That is not required for their progress in the spiritual path. Sometimes if Krishna preserve that, that is an obstacle. So he will remove that. Our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, he is a pure devotee. He was just acting as an instrument in Krishna's hand to revive our lost Krishna consciousness. So he was acting as a businessman, and he had whatever business, money, this, that, and Krishna took away everything from him. Not the way he's taking things from us. Krishna knows that he doesn't need these things anyway. But in this past time, he took away, and then Prabhupada himself told that was the turning point in my life, when he became completely devoted to Krishna and started spreading the Krishna consciousness movement, etc. So Krishna might take away something, and one may think he's telling he will carry what they lack, and now he's taking whatever I have. He's not preserving what I have. Oh, I had a big house. Now I don't have that anymore. He's not preserving. So he's not a nice God or something. I will go to some other God, and then I will get things from that God. Now, many people move away from Krishna also. But then we are not having the right understanding of Krishna. That is where the importance of spiritual master comes. Spiritual master or pure devotee can let us know that, yes, you lost this or you gained this, whatever. This is the reason, such and such reason. So keep moving. This is the right path. Krishna is with you. Krishna is giving you whatever you need. All we need is devotee association and some facility to serve Krishna. And for each person, it will be different, which we may not know, only Krishna knows. So that is how we have to understand. I am still learning this. I am not realized in this. I'm simply repeating Srila Prabhupada's words. I have a long way to go to understand this principle of saying yes to Krishna. Not asking Krishna why you are not keeping this for me, or why you are not giving that to me, etc., which is foolish. I know I'm still learning. But at least we have acharyas like Srila Prabhupada to remind us again and again and again. This is what you need. This you may not need, and simply follow the instructions of Krishna, follow the instructions of Guru. Then you will get the real knowledge by which we can develop more attachment to Krishna. The whole purpose of knowledge is to increase our affinity, attachment to Krishna. to hear about Krishna, to worship Krishna, to chant the holy name of Krishna, etc. So for that, we have to have a solid devotee association. We have to surrender to a guru, and that way surrender to Lord Krishna. Then, as mentioned in this verse, Srila Prabhupada mentioning us, better to refrain from comparing the Lord's position to ours. That will happen. That will become a reality. Right now, maybe I'm speaking about myself. I'm still trying to become pure. And I know theoretically Krishna is a supreme Lord. And I know originally I am servant of Krishna, but the actions are not reflecting this theoretical knowledge. Because I'm still trying to become a devotee and trying to do sadhana, bhakti, etc. So I might indirectly or in my deep heart, I may be comparing myself with Krishna in the sense that I also want to overpower or think that I can do something and I'm capable. All those false conceptions, pride, envy, all these things are still there. That is basically we are indirectly comparing ourselves with Krishna, or we are thinking I also have a position like him in some way. This way. These are all misconceptions, but by surrendering to the words of spiritual master and surrendering to Krishna, we can come out of this false realm and then come to the original position as the pure servant of Krishna, simply following his instructions and understanding his position. So I will stop here and invite any one of you to provide your realizations and offer any corrections or wrong things I have mentioned. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wide-ranging lecture where you covered many important topics. We'll give chance to others. Please speak. If you have questions, please go ahead. If you have reflections or appreciation, do that as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It is very wonderful class. You say a number of times Krishna, maybe 100. We are also hearing, and whole class is Krishna's prayer. This is very, very wonderful. In this class, only Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. In everything is Krishna. Our mind also going to Krishna. How is Krishna? I am saying some appearance of Krishna through this class. Thank you very much.
Krishna for your
How to surrender to
devotion.
Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danut Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. Like Jai Sachidanand Prabhu mentioned, you covered a wide variety of topics. Well, the theme you mainly focused was the supremacy of Krishna and what as a jiva, who we are and what is our duty, which is surrendering to Krishna. So in this regard, you spoke a lot about Krishna's supremacy. You started with the different expansions of Krishna and from Bhagavad Gita, several verses, and you spoke how one should not compare oneself with Krishna, because you can see in his pastimes how great he is. Like it's impossible to even think that a single person can do all that, like marrying 16,108 queens. You spoke about how ultimately without devotion, if somebody learns Vedas, it's completely useless. So yeah, ultimately our duty as a jiva is to surrender. And what does it mean to surrender, and how ultimately we have to surrender to Krishna, to surrender to Guru, and through that we have to surrender to Krishna, and how Krishna loves us and how he expresses our love in protecting. What does it mean by Krishna protects and all that? So very, very wide variety of topics with all such a wonderfully connected theme. So beautiful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you for nicely summarizing and reminding me of all these instructions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you
Hare
for a
Krishna.
wonderful lecture, Prabhu. Definitely, as Jai Sachinandan Prabhu and Jai Nitya Prabhu said, this lecture gave a lot of insights, especially as you mentioned about Krishna's infiniteness and his unlimited mercy. And you quoted very good examples. And I was listening, like how many number of Bhagavad Gita verses you referred, like which talks about Krishna's unlimitedness, cause of all causes, right? Like you started with 14.4 and 10.8, like aham sarvasya prabhu, veda ischa sarvair aham veda, and a lot other, Prabhu. Thank you for bringing a lot of insights through your lecture. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reminding me all this. You are listening very carefully and shows your elevated level of devotion and inclination to hear. Very inspired. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, reading this chapter, I continuously think of how cultured and refined and sensitive Yudhishthira Maharaj is. All these wonderful qualities of a devotee. He cares about Sri Krishna and he has relationship with Sri Krishna. Yet he's not seeing those that are dear to Krishna Bhagavan. And he, I think, is appreciating Krishna for how Krishna cares for so many individuals in such a personal manner. I think Sri Naraji, when he saw this pastime of Krishna with his 16,100 wives and how he's reciprocating his devotion, sprouted
Right.
more. We would normally just, if in the material world, if we think something's going wrong, we would just kind of cut to the chase, so to speak, and say what's going on with Krishna. But he's so refined, such an amazing devotee. The Pandavas are so surrendered. They're willing to be used by Krishna in any manner that he desires, even when in difficult situations. Yeah, I'm just seeing the power for pure devotee.
Yeah.
You see this chapter. And the love he has for Krishna is so personal. Yeah.
Beautifully said that. Thank you so much for your getting the essence of the whole context.
I don't know about the essence, but it's just something that
The mood of the whole mood is very, yes, Yudhishthira Maharaj is showing his affection to
you can
Krishna
see
and
why,
everyone. So,
you can see why Krishna chose them. Shri
yeah.
Krishna.
I just remembering Radharani Maharaj recently mentioning like Pandavas always challenges, but still the same thing you mentioned. They are ready to become his instruments and anything Krishna wants. Their elevated position was mentioned in the
I mean, Yudhishthira Maharaj is not a silly person or unobservant person. I can only imagine the pain him and Shri Arjuna are feeling at the departure of Krishna. And I think this chapter is just kind of like expanding on that so nicely. I appreciate how you connected to the philosophy. There's emotion behind devotion, but there's also deep Shastric principles, and I appreciate how you connected that. I really like the Nitya Nityanams Chaitanas Chaitanam verse, showing Krishna's personal care of every living being, whether they know it or not. So, yes, wonderful lecture. Very, very respectful to Sri Krishna Bhagavan, but also very intimate to relationship with Bhagavan. Thank you. I hope you and your family are doing well